Hello, I'm inside because it's raining and I'm not mad about it. Victoria is in a drought at the moment, so a rainy day like this is delicious, spectacular. There's more coming throughout the week. I'm very excited. I saw a puddle today, like an actual sploshy puddle. It was brilliant. So I've got a little bit to talk to you about. I haven't had as much progress as I maybe should have or could have. Life has just been very lifey lately. Nothing bad's happening, nothing terrible. Everyone's fine. Just busy, lot on, lot to do, lot to think about. So progress on the crafty side of things has been a little bit slower than it really needed to be. This is off, well, that held up well. This is off the little loom and wet finished, and it's fine. I haven't pressed it. Look, I haven't pressed it. It's wrinkly. Now, this has actually got a bit of a texture in it that you can't really see. And that's from double warping some holes and slots. So there's a stripe there, there's a stripe there, and a stripe there. I was hoping that would be a little bit more textured after the wet finish. It is there, it's just really subtle, and I don't know that it's showing up on camera. This actually blooms and tightens up a lot more than I was expecting it to, because this was quite a gappy weave. But now that it's wet finished, it's a lot more solid, which is fine, it can do what it likes. So that is finished. It could have been a little bit longer. I had some more warp left over. I'm holding that up. Holding up the ends, like that's helping you determine how long it is. It's about a bit over 2 meters. So this could have been a little bit longer. I had a bit more warp left, but I ran out of yarn on my shuttle and I was bored. A little bit bored with this. It's fine, it's beautiful, it's wonderful soft silk, it's lovely. But I just thought I don't want to load the shuttle and then weave another that much and then have to unload the shuttle because it's a very fine yarn. So I just finished it early because I'm allowed to do that. I make the rules. So that is off the loom, wet finished, just needs a press, which I will get around to at some point. Now on the little loom, barely started, but that's traditional. So I'm going to hold this up in a very professional manner. There we go. Barely started. As you can see, there's my waste yarn, the pink there, that's the waste yarn for spreading the header. And so for spreading the header, I'll just explain, because that's a phrase that sounds weird. Why have I got you on that side? I wanted you on that side. That's okay. So when you attach your yarn to the front beam, which is down here, you end up with sort of V shapes because you pull bits of yarn into a knot to tie it on. And so to spread the header, you just put some scrap yarn through, and that helps everything sit nicely before you start weaving so that you don't have any gaps or V shapes. I don't know that I explained it well, but I did explain it. So this is an alternating warp. I'm going to hold that up closer so you can maybe see what I mean, perhaps. I've got this yarn here, which is Bendigo Woollen Mills something. Bendigo Woollen Mills tweed, something like that. I should have looked that up before I started recording. I'll look it up, I'll put it in the description. And then this textured yarn here is from my aunt's stash, and I don't know what it is. I think there's another ball somewhere so I can look it up. But at the moment, I don't know what it is. But I have this textured yarn just in the slots. Can I show you that? If I swap my shuttle hand, maybe. So you might be able to see. Well, actually, it would be easier if I just moved that up a little bit. It's a little bit grippy. It's a little bit grippier than I would like. But I'll just, actually, I'll put that down so you can see what I mean. I'm such a professional. There we go. A little bit grippy. So that's with the heddle in the down position. And you might be able to see that all of the threads on the top, which is the top of the shed there, are the textured ones, except for at the sides here. So I've just alternated the textured yarn and the plain yarn, just for a bit of visual interest, just to make it look a bit more interesting. And it's working, and I haven't got very far, but it should be interesting when it's finished. It's going to have quite a long fringe accidentally, but that's, you know, the drama. So that's on the little loom. It's going well. Well, I say that, but I've done, I think that's probably almost exactly an inch. So I also have something on the big loom. I'm continuing with my scrap yarn and my stash busting. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, because that's what we're here for. So to catch you up on what's going on here, I'm weaving fabric to make a capelet. And I'm doing that with stash busting. So the warp is all stuff that's been put back in the stash for whatever reason, leftovers from a project, only used a little bit when warping up or weaving, and there was a sort of a good amount, enough to hang on to do something else with. The little bits that are too small to hang on to because they're not really long enough for warping with, they get tied into the magic ball and then I weave with them. So this is all random yarn as well. This is all random yarn, and it is a tension nightmare. And if you're a weaver, you're looking at that thinking that's a tension nightmare, and you're correct. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, this section here is cotton. Cotton has no stretch. So when this is very, very tight, these are all still quite loose. So that's quite tight now, but there's still a lot of loose, I mean, particularly over here. So I did a lot of fiddling and adjusting, and that's as best as I could get it. And the other thing is, because I'm going to cut this up as fabric, and also because it's a project for me, it's not something that I'm going to try and sell or give away, it doesn't really matter that much. So I'm very free form with this. I'm very chill, I'm very relaxed. It's all fine. I don't even have to worry about nice edges because they're getting cut off. But that is a bit of a tension headache. The other reason is I've got cloth on the front beam. I don't know that that's in shot. If I move this back slightly, you'll be able to see. There we go. So I've got this cloth on the front beam here, which didn't wind on very neatly. So that's, as you can see, a bit chunky there. That's not helping with the tension either. I have decided to not worry about it. But you can see my fell line is very wavy. I've got a big gap down here where the tension was just nightmarish. I'm just rolling with it. I'm just going to roll with it. For the most part, it is behaving. It's just kind of doing its own thing in the meantime. And I'm okay with that because, as I said, this is going to be cut up. So I just need to get to the end of this, which is probably not that far away. Then I'm going to get my pattern sorted, and I have to print it out and tape it together. And that's always fun. And I very rarely swear while I do it. And then I'm going to see if I've got enough woven fabric to actually make the pattern. And if not, I will do a third panel because I've still got plenty of yarn in the stash to warp up with, and I've definitely still got enough magic ball. But that is how the big loom is looking at the moment. In exciting news, I've actually found the label for the yarn I'm using on the little loom. It's Bendigo Woollen Mills Rustic Tweed in the Cinnabar colourway. So that's exciting. I'm glad I was able to find that and tell you that before I forget to put it in the description, because I probably would have forgotten. That is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time with hopefully the big loom not only finished and woven, but that piece wet finished and the earlier piece wet finished and maybe even cut out. Am I over-promising? Yes, I absolutely am. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. We'll find out. You take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.